Yo, what's up guys? So in this video I'll be teaching you how to palm cards without fear. The reason why I say without fear is because the main problem we have in palming is fear of being caught. Somebody might see your hands cramped in a weird position, or somebody might see the card sticking out. In this video I'll be solving all those problems and you'll be palming without fear in no time. So the technique that we'll be looking at today is sort of a variation on Vernon's original top palm. However, if you want to learn more about palming in general, Card College is a great place to start. Speaking of Card College, Roberto Giobbi has just a wonderful, fantastic, in-depth masterclass course on palming. Definitely check that out. I'll leave a link down below. Also, in Ascanio's book, The Structural Conception of Magic, he goes over a wonderful chapter of psychology of palming. Definitely worth reading. Just read the whole book, because it's wonderful. Alright, I've talked long enough, so let's get into it. Alright, so to execute a good top palm, a good tactic is to have a reason to come over and sort of square the deck, alright? So if you come over to an already squared deck and do a palm like this, it really makes no sense of why you're doing that. It can be noticed, alright? So a good tactic is to have the card you want to palm off on the top of the deck. Maybe you've controlled it there and you've done a dribble. And it's a good idea to have this sort of mess so you can come over and square the deck and in the process palm the card off. So how do I do that? So exposed view, this is what's happening, alright? So you want to sort of create sort of a hinge with the deck and your pinky. What I mean by that is this. So if I just push the card over like this, I would have to sort of come over and do with this, which can be seen, and it's not very good at all. Alright, so what you want to do is create sort of an angle like this with the card, and the way to do that is with the pinky. Alright, so your pinky wants to be on the corner like this, and when you push it over, what's going to happen is you can see it like this. The card is going to sort of angle like this, and it goes just in line with your palm. Alright, so without the deck, this is sort of what's happening, alright? So it's sort of pivoting off of your pinky like this, alright? So your pinky is going to be on the corner of the deck, and when you push it over, that's what's happening, alright? So it just angles right into the palm of your hand, alright? So you want to push that off in a way that's going to be angled with your pinky. That pinky is a pivot point as you push the card, so it's like this. You're sort of applying a downward pressure with your pinky on the corner of the deck there, so it can be angled like this, pivoting off of the deck. That way it's going to be in line with your palm, alright? So you're like this, and what's going to happen is just sort of let go with your thumb, and that downward pressure with your pinky is going to allow that card to spring up and pop off into your hand, where your middle finger right there can apply more pressure to really get it into your palm there. Alright, so I'll remove my hand for clarity. Your pinky is right there in the corner, and as you push the card, it's going to pivot on your pinky like this with that corner there, alright? So you're like this, pushing the card, and it's being angled like this as you push it. So that's what you want to get. So you want to just practice that pivoting, and then your palm will be automatic when you can do that pivot action as you push the card. Alright, so you're pushing the card, you're pivoting that with your pinky, and in a squaring action, you sort of do this, move your thumb out of the way, and that's just going to be in the palm. So to hold the card in palm, there's a few things you want to be aware of, alright? So the main contact points of the card that you want to have on your hand is with your pinky and the base of your thumb like this, alright? So you don't even need the rest of your fingers, alright? They can be free, and then you're just sort of squeezing the card with the base of your thumb and your pinky like this, alright? So that's not going to move, alright? So it's not this, you're not cramping the card like this with your fingers. It's more of just your pinky, so you can have a sort of a loose feeling with your hand. So fully exposed view, we're here. Maybe we do a double lift, alright? Or like this, we put the double into the middle, or if the double, put the card in the middle, we push it in, we dribble the deck, so we have a reason to come over and square the deck. As we do, sort of notice what's happening here also. I'm sort of beveling the deck like this until I'm just letting loose the cards in my hand, extending my finger so the that can be beveled. As I do that, I'm coming over and I'm already prepared for palm. As I sort of push the card over a little bit, come over with my hand to square the deck, my pinky hits that corner, and then I'm like this, come over to square the deck, my thumb snaps that into place, and then I'm doing this to square the deck, and that card is just in palm held there, like I said, with the pressure points of the hand, pinky, and the base of your thumb. Now, as much as you might want to argue, or as much as people want to argue about it, the palm is not really meant to be seen as a move, all right? So you want to really do it when there's misdirection, all right? So the best way to palm cards is with misdirection, all right? So you don't want to have people burn your hands as you're palming the card. However, you can. It's just not recommended, all right? So let's say if I was looking at you talking, looking at your eyes, and I do the palm, there's nothing to be seen when I do that. It just looks like I'm toying with the deck and squaring it up. All right, so always a good idea to have misdirection when you're palming. So what are some strategies we can employ to have that misdirection? So it's always a good idea to have somebody look at something else as the palm is being executed, all right? So here's a nice little trick you can do totally impromptu that uses the palm, and it's a very nice trick, and this one you can practice the palm with, all right? So what you want to do is have the ace of spades on top of the deck, have somebody pick a card like this, and then they remember it, and it's the five of spades. They put it back in the middle, but really it's going to go on top of that ace of spades. It's going to become your key card, all right? So they put it back in the middle. The five of spades goes like this. Now, at this point, it looks like the card is lost in the deck. So at this point, what you're going to do is say, look, I can always find the card with my magic card, the ace of spades. Now, all you're going to do here is go through the deck like this with it faces towards yourself, and as you come to the ace of spades, all you're going to do is cut it to the top with the one card above it, which is always going to be their card, all right? So you cut that to the top, their card being the topmost card, the second card being the ace of spades. Now, all you're going to do here is do a double lift, all right? So it just looks like you cut the ace of spades to the top because you're showing it that it's on top. Now, what you're going to do is turn it double back over and put it on the table and say, this is why it's my magic card. All you have to do is take your index finger and point to it and give it a rub on the table, and they'll start doing that. And as they're doing that, everybody's gonna be watching the ace of spades, and you can even say, look, something magical is going to happen to the ace of spades. As they're doing this, everybody's focus is on this rubbing action. So that's perfect time for you to just palm the card off like this into your hand. And so as they're rubbing, you say, look, has anything happened to ace of spades? You can check it out. And then they're going to turn it over. And then as they're turning it over, you go into your pocket and say, look, the reason why the ace of spades is my magic card is I never leave it out of my pocket, or whatever you want to say, right? Just produce it from your pocket, go in your pocket with the palmed card and take it right back out, making it look like, it's a transpo that the ace of spades was in your pocket all along, and that has changed into their card, which they did magically with their rubbing action. So the main reason why a lot of people don't use palming in their work is because they're scared that they might get caught, and that's perfectly understandable. It's a very vulnerable place to be with the card hidden in your hand. All right, so a good thing that Ascanio points out in his book is to do a palm when you don't need to. What he means by that is anytime you hand the deck to the spectator to shuffle or whatever, just palm a card off and don't worry about it. I mean, if they see it, they see it, because since it doesn't matter, if they see it, they can be like, hey, I can see the card in your hand. Oh, this one? Yeah, I was just trying to see how, observant you are for this trick. Or whatever you want to say, it doesn't really matter, just as long as you can get a card in the palm when it doesn't matter, right? So palm a card off, hand them the deck, ask them to shuffle. That's also a good strategy to mime an overhand shuffle with the card palmed like this. Give it a shuffle, and when they give it back to you, just replace it on top, and just see if they notice. All right, if they don't notice, you're onto something great. All right, so that'll also build your confidence up to be able to palm cards without it being seen. All right, so great way to practice the palm. I hope I've covered all the details about the palm itself as I needed to, but just in case I didn't, I'll try to go through it one more time just so you can get a clear picture of what's being done. So like I said, always come at it with the sloppy deck so you have a reason to come over and square up. And that bevel is also important, so you don't have to push over as much, all right? So that's about as much as you need. All right, but that's hidden at this angle, all right? So again, you come over, start to do the push off, and just this pinky hits the corner, applies a slight downward pressure as you push that card. The card will automatically just pivot like that. Now all I gotta do is just pop it off your thumb by moving out of the way. These fingers, or this middle finger, helps snap it into palm more as you continue to square the deck. Now this index finger can go on the edge of the card like this, it also bends in, and at this point you're like this with those two pressure points to hold the deck. Alright, so you're like this, and yeah, that's basically all it is. I don't know how I can make it more clear than that, but yeah, I hope you practice it, and because it's a great move to use in your card magic, which is, in my opinion, underutilized and also poorly done sometimes. I mean, sometimes you might see people doing palms like this, you know, like I've seen Michael Amar do it like this, where he's like almost doing a nice color change like this, and please don't do that. Always remember to do it on the offbeat with misdirection when you're looking at that person, talking to them, just casually palm the card off. And always follow movement, so if you want to put the deck down like this, they'll follow that, and then they'll never see the card in the palm. Alright, so like I said, also it's not a move that can be burnable. However, it is if you get really good at it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Alright, so that'll do it for today's video. I really hope that you'll learn something new and your fear of palming has gone away. If you learned something new, if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Sub to the channel, it helps me out more than you might think. Until next time, happy practicing. I love you guys.